What's up, Guardians? Welcome to another Destiny gameplay video. In this video I'm going to give you my sort of tutorial, my tips and tricks on how to prolong your kill streaks in the Crucible. And that's while playing aggressively. It's not just sitting in the back and sniping and playing super defensively. And everything that you're going to see in this video, all the footage that is going to be in it, all came from at least 15 kill streaks or more. So some of them are from 30 kill streaks, 25 kill streaks, but none of them are pulled out of a kill streak under 15. So I figured that would be fitting for this video. So right here, the first thing I want to talk about in order to prolong your kill streaks is you need to have a really solid fight or flight instinct. So with that Blade Dancer, I didn't figure that with the amount of space between he and I didn't figure that I had enough time to drop him. So what I did is I didn't just backpedal and shoot. I actually you do a 180 and you sprint in the opposite direction. So when it comes to people, especially hunters, who you can see them activate their super and then you have time to react to it because it's not just an insta-pop super. What you need to do is evaluate whether or not your chances are pretty good at taking him down. If they're not, and you decide you need to limit the engagement and just bug out, then you just pull a 180 and run in the opposite direction. You don't backpedal and shoot. That's one of the things that gets people killed a lot in this game. And the same thing goes for Axion bolts. If they're chasing you, don't backpedal, just turn around and sprint. And so again here, what you see is at the time I was flashing red. I had red on my radar. I just didn't like my position, so I just up and sprinted out of there. I decided I'd rather pick where my next engagement is going to happen and get myself in a more strategic position. Ended up turning into, like you see there, a Reign of Terror. Whereas if I hadn't just turned around and run, who knows, I may not have survived that next engagement because it wasn't in a good spot. Next thing I want to talk about is you need to be able to learn how to start to think, plan, and attack in 3 dimensions. And a lot of people look at the maps sort of as just the space that you can walk on. They see them as very two-dimensional kind of planes. And that's really not the case. Most of the map is the space above the area you can walk on. So you need to learn how to use that space to your advantage. So you're going to see in some of these next clips, I'm using lots of different varying degrees of my vertical space. Again, I jump over this guy and it makes him whiff on his shotgun. And then I can turn around and engage him after I come back down. Again here, I jump over this guy's AR and his melee attack. So I was able to avoid taking pretty much any damage at all just because I was using my vertical space to my advantage. And you'll see here, they just picked up their heavy. So again, I started out that engagement higher because these guys, most people, the overwhelming majority of players, when they're moving around the map, they're looking at eye level, they're looking at head level because that's where they expect you to be. And if they're sighted in on their shotguns, waiting around a corner, again, they're looking at eye level, they're not looking up. So a lot of times if you can sort of jump around a corner and it gives you that like fraction of a second where they have to readjust their sights, that can give you a world of an advantage and can definitely help you prolong your kill streak. So again, you see I'm alternating being up, being down, being high, being low. Part of what that does is it makes it so that the people who have their heads kind of buried in their radar, it makes it so that those people, it's tough for them to get a beat on you because your dot goes from being bold to being translucent and then back to bold and then back to translucent. So it can really confuse them, give you an edge because they're too focused on that radar than actually assessing what's around them. So you see, I always, when I sight in, if I don't see something immediately, I'll sight back out, and that gives me a better radar awareness, so I can just kind of keep an eye on that and know whether guys are on my same level or not. So again, you see, instead of walking around those crates where this guy expected me to be, I jumped over him, and he had to readjust his sights, which gave me just enough time to kill him first. And same thing with that, popping that super, kind of jumping up from being down. Guys aren't really expecting that. Next thing I want to talk about is utilizing your choke points to your advantage. So you see it, especially on a map like this, where the B objective is located in between pretty much 3 choke points. This is a great example. And you'll see here, I'm actually using this choke point from the opposite angle too, so that while my teammates are engaging those guys from this side, the B side of that choke point, I actually wrapped around and got them in the choke point from behind. And so yeah, there's going to be a lot of that's what she said on that one, isn't there? Anyways, Sorry, that just kind of popped in my head. I'm really random like that. But anyways, and then here you see when they actually make it through those choke points, and we're kind of pressed up against the walls here, I'm using my horizontal cover, kind of ducking in and out, making guys sort of reprioritize who they're going to shoot at. And again, when I jump up here, I super this guy's bubble to the left, and you never want to just walk into a bubble. Yeah, sometimes you'll get a kill out of it, and you'll feel pretty cool because you killed a guy inside his bubble. But unless you have a lot of teammates there, it's a high-risk, low-reward sort of a thing. I'd rather go on a 15 kill streak and be smart about when I engage guys. And again, you see here, using the choke point to my advantage. But I'd rather go on a long kill streak, being smart about it, than risk dumping a kill streak down the tube because I want to be cool, shooting a guy in his bubble. And again, here, this is that same choke point that opening montage was in, there at the A point on Anomaly. And again, with these choke points, it's not just about shooting in them, but you see I threw a grenade there first. Know what's cooled down, because you can use a lot of your AoE sort of abilities to really give you the upper hand in these choke points, because if they come around the corner and they're already primed by your grenade, then it's going to be really easy. I saw this guy coming into the choke point, so I just knew he's sprinting, he's going to be at head level, so I just trained my sniper on him, made for an easy kill. And then this guy actually backpedaled and drew him back into that hallway so that he would be easier to engage. So on the other end of the choke points, you really want to weigh the risks and rewards before you go into a choke point like that. Sort of try and know what some of these player habits have been like in the game so far, so you know, well, so-and-so likes to snipe in this area, so I need to be mindful of that. So when you're going into a choke point, you certainly want to be mindful, is this going to be worth it? Should I think about just going around? Now, obviously, you can't just avoid all the choke points on the map. You got to go through some, and that's kind of a given. So choke points, when you're going into them, can also be a high-risk, high-reward sort of a scenario as well, because people like to look at choke points. So you can sort of weigh whether or not you think you can take out the competition on the other end of that choke point. So here, I know that objectives aren't necessarily choke points, like the C objective here, but they are places where people tend to congregate, so you can use them to your advantage as well. So that's how I was able to get that easy triple kill. Now this last match I want to show you some footage from. Admittedly, not so much with the other games, but with this game, you'll see there's, I think about 3 of these guys are pretty low level. And one of them sent me he sent me a lot of hate mail after this game. So this one was kind of the competition wasn't that great, but at the same time there are some things in this footage that are worth talking about because they're tactics that I use in my other games. Now, one of the things you want to be mindful of is the clock in the lower right hand corner of your screen, and the reason for that is because you have to know that heavy spawns on the map usually around 6 and 9 minutes, and so you always want to be mindful of that. So the way that you're moving around the map, the way that you're saving your super, if you've got your super up and you're close to that 6 or 9 minute mark, you may just want to hang on to it. Now again, you're going to see me here using my vertical space to my advantage. Just jump right over this guy. He has no idea what's going on. And then rock the super here for the double kill and get the triple kill on top of it with the at any cost. But anyways, just try to be mindful of that clock and let that sort of dictate how you move around the map. And if you're close to the heavy and you're close to that 9 or 6 minute mark, you may just want to kind of hold your ground instead of giving up that position to the enemy. So if you do have your super up, another thing is a high risk, high reward sort of a thing that you can weigh is whether or not you just want to take your super and then go bull rush the other team's heavy where they're spawning. Because you can get them bunched up on it and get lots of multi-kills if you time it right. But it is, again, it's a high risk, high reward, because if you mess it up, this guy's AFK by the way, if you mess it up, then they get heavy. Not only do you give them the heavy, but you also lose your super, and you yourself probably aren't going to get any heavy ammo because your team's probably already popped yours. So again, here I'm using this choke point, and that's a bad doorway to stand in, but I decided I was going to look through it, and I weighed the risk and reward. These guys weren't that skilled, so I figured I could use that choke point to my advantage and still come out on top. So again, I find myself heavy ammo inbound, and here I am right by the heavy ammo. So I'm just going to come up here and make sure that the top is clear. This guy, Swaggy Waggy Doo, He's the guy that sent me that hate mail at the end of the game. And it was pretty simple. The message simply read, "You play like a female dog." And except obviously it didn't say female dog. And again, you're going to see me here using this using the A point as a choke point. This guy's leaving the game, so that's why that snipe didn't count. I was kind of confused at first. But anyway, the guy didn't let it go after he sent that message. I had turned the console off and packed my son up and was taking him to daycare, and my phone is still vibrating on the PlayStation app because I'm still getting hate mail from this guy. So it clearly got under his skin. But you guys are watching the footage. Maybe you can tell me if I'm playing like a female dog. By the way, I'm censoring that because I'm sensitive to the fact that some of the viewers are family men. You know, a lot of guys from DOD. So I try to be mindful of that in my vids. But anyways. So yeah, a couple of other things just before we wrap up here. I also want to I've said this in some of my other videos, but it's certainly worth saying again. Use your teammates. Like right here, I was pushed up against the ropes. I actually just ran around straight through my teammates so that hopefully that guy who was aggroed on me would just run at my teammates and they could just take him out pretty easily, which is exactly what happened. And that happens a lot. You don't have to get every kill. Maybe just draw these people to your teammates, and that'll save your life. Give them a kill. Everyone gets points. Everyone's happy, and you stay alive, and you can prolong your kill streak. So in the last kill of the game, of course, swaggy waggy do. So ultimately, after all the hate mail, I usually don't respond to hate mail, but I figured I would indulge him. I just simply said, "Thanks for helping me pad my stats," and that was it. Maybe that was a little too aggressive of me, and not so nice, but whatever. Sometimes I get in those moods. But I hope this video was helpful, guys. I hope you can take some of these tips and implement them. So I hope you have a good one. Feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. See you guys later.